right. Okay. Here we go. There we are. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in. Gather around the old digital campfire. We're about to have an audience with the one, the only Sid Krofft. Come on in, everyone. Come on in. No pushing. Hey, no pushing. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited because today, hey, what? Can I be on Sid Krofft's show too? No, you cannot be on Sid Krofft's show too. But I want to be on Sid Krofft's show. Look at everybody. No, listen. This is very important to me. You can't be on Sid Krofft's show. Oh. Well, can I give you a kiss? No, I don't want a kiss. You're a plunger. Do you know where your lips have been? Yeah. But I still want to give you a kiss. All right. While I go wash my face, I will turn it on over to the one, the only, the grandfather of puppetry, Mr. Sid Krofft and Kelly. Oh, gross. So gross. What did you have for breakfast? You don't want to know.
Ladies and gentlemen, the unusual artistry of Sid Krofft.
Well, hello everybody. Toily, I hear you're going to be in Long Beach next week. They didn't ask me, but we'll come and see you anyway, in disguise. You know, many years ago, Rock Hudson and Mae West, they were on the Academy Awards together, and they both sang, "Baby, It's Cold Outside." Oh my God, it is cold outside. Not as cold as it is on the East Coast, but that's why I got my jacket on.
In the house.
Well, we have to turn the heater off because it affects the sound. Oh my God, we always have such a problem. You know, as long as I'm on this planet, I will never, ever forget where I came from and what got me to all my successes. It's just one word: puppetry, period. How about that? And when I was 10 years old, that's when I chose my profession at 10 years old, to be a puppeteer for the rest of my life. Just kept playing with dolls. and I'm self-taught. Yeah. I mean, I don't come from a theatrical family, but my guest today is one of the stars, one of the stars and the star puppeteer on that incredible show, Sesame Street. And as you know, Sesame Street is all over the world in so many different languages. And I cannot believe it's just my honor today. Yes, it is my honor to present the beautiful and talented Megan Piphus. Come on, Megan, because I can't wait. Wow,
Yay!
How fabulous. Look at you. Thank you so much. You know, Megan, I think it was last week I saw you on the Kelly Clarkson show. And I immediately said to Kelly, oh my God, we got to get Megan on. You know. And so, but I'm going to tell you later how we knew a lot about you
years ago.
Yeah, you were on our radar. Wow. And we'll talk about it later. But thank you so much for coming on. You're so young. How do you know who I am and what I've done?
Yeah, I've been 25 for like 6 years now.
25 for 6 years. So
she's 16.
Oh, is that? Look at you, Megan. You're incredible.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I was just beside myself, falling out the chair when I got a message saying that, you wanted to do Instagram Live. Instagram Live. So actually, this is my first time ever going live.
Well,
It is?
welcome.
Wow. Well, do I take a bow or
No,
do
you
you?
do.
No, I
You.
do.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. You know, I was a performer, so I know how to bow. Yeah. And as you know, being in the puppet world, you know that puppets always stop the
Yeah.
show. Kids, puppets, and dogs. Yeah, that's it. Once you get booked on a show, you know that you're going to get once in a while even a standing ovation.
Yeah.
How about that?
There's many
Yeah.
times I've showed up without a puppet, and the level of disappointment that in people's face for it only being me was startling.
Well, I mean, I don't know who those people are, but we're not going to talk about them.
Well, I'm going to jump in real quick because I'm a huge fan. We've been huge fans of yours for many, many
Oh,
years.
wow.
And how old were you when you started working with puppets? Because we found a very young you online.
Yeah, I was the same age when Sid started. I was
Yeah,
10.
10
I
years
was 10
old.
years old when I started,
Yeah.
and I was exposed to women ventriloquists at a conference where I was learning with my church how to do like stage puppetry. And so I went home and I told my mom, I was like, I really like the puppetry conference, but I really like the female ventriloquists I saw there. And so we went to the library, and a member of our church was actually a librarian as well. And so she helped us order VHS tapes from different libraries on how to do ventriloquism. So I rented tapes by Paul Winchell. He had a how to do
Wow.
ventriloquism tape. Liz Von
Yeah.
Sagan. And I think Judy Bush had a tape. And after that, we went to the toy store and got a little Charlie McCarthy puppet, and I just watched those tapes back and forth and learned. And within probably a week and a half, 2 weeks, I brought my puppet to school and I wrote a few jokes, and I was doing a little sideshow for my friends at school. And my teachers noticed, and they're like, "Hey, can you show the rest of the school what you learned?" In our morning devotion, I went to a small Christian private school. And so the young actor in me was like, "Oh, this is not just a show and tell, this is a performance." So I wrote like a 2-page script about love and performed it in front of my elementary school. And that was my very first puppetry performance.
Well, without moving your mouth.
Yes, without moving my mouth.
No, you mentioned Charlie McCarthy. You know, I was born in 29, and all through the 30s,
Yeah.
he was the number one show on
Wow.
radio. Yeah, Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy. Sunday night, we used to, the whole family never missed it.
Oh,
You know, it was the whole country. It was number one. And we would just sit on the couch and the radio, this wooden
yeah.
box, you just stare at the box and laugh at the box, or you close your eyes because you could use your imagination. That's what I loved about radio.
Yeah.
Radio was just awesome because even on Saturday, my favorite show came from Canada and it was called Let's Pretend. Yeah.
Wow.
And they would do a fairy tale. Never ever miss that. That was my Saturday morning treat. Nobody could come into my bedroom and and I four-posted my bed and threw a sheet over it and had my little crystal radio, and oh my God, talk about use your imagination because
Beautiful.
they did the sound effects and it was incredible show. Somebody just sent me a book and some of the shows, you know, uh, on radio.
Yeah.
I haven't played them yet, but so that was my Saturday morning treat.
That's
But you didn't grow up with my
no,
shows. It's
Oh,
impossible.
no, but I had to rent tapes of them to go back and learn. Another puppeteer that I was really inspired by was Sherry Lewis, and so her show wasn't on broadcast on television anymore when I was learning. So I had like a DVD box set of the Sherry Lewis show, and I'd watch those religiously. And eventually, when YouTube came around, I was able to watch Edgar Bergen's show and characters.
Yeah, he moved his mouth. He was just, you know, I mean, he really moved his mouth. Uh, the great one right now is Terry
Yes,
Fader. Have you seen him? You know, and he not only does a character, I don't know how the hell he does it.
the
He
voice.
said he only can do one show a night in Vegas because there's so much, you know, it's so hard on his throat to sing and do spot on a
Impressions.
famous impression, you
Wow.
know. And oh my God, I've had him on the show a couple of
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
You know him? He's the nicest guy.
Yeah. Sweet.
He's incredible, you know, and shares his success with everybody. I
Yeah.
love him. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I've gotten to meet him just once when I was going through America's Got Talent. He gave me some encouraging words. He was really kind.
How great.
Yeah.
And you know, when you talk about uh, who was Paul Winchell, oh my God. Of course, I knew him. And he, you know, he had his own show
Yeah.
too. Yeah. And so, and Senior Wences, it was crazy because I worked on the same bill. I mean, they had a puppet act and Senior Wences,
Yeah.
you know, and so I worked with him. Didn't you love him? He was like hysterical.
Mhm.
I mean, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah. No, no, he was fabulous. Just painting his puppet on his hand, you know, and yeah.
I have another question. I have another question
This
that
is
came in.
Kelly. Kelly,
Yes.
Kelly
Hey,
has
Kelly.
I'm like the talking hand.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah.
And I'm Megan. I'm Megan number two.
Oh,
I'll get out of here.
Oh,
no,
crazy.
I've been before you ask the question. I've been working for years, and I do the voice and everything, but I move my mouth a lot because I tried ventriloquism and I can't do it. And
Yeah.
and when people say to me, "What do you do for a living?" I say, "I'm a puppeteer." Would you like to see something that I've been working on for a
Yeah.
long, long time? You know, and let me clear my throat. You know, who are you? I'm the devil. Go to hell. And that's it. And I said, what do you think? Do you think I can? Yeah. Do you think I could
I'm
continue
gonna steal
my
that.
career? Do you think people would pay to see me? And they said, this guy needs to be taken away in a straitjacket. You know. I
Oh my
also
God.
wrote a poem. I you you have a poem too,
We're
Kelly.
doing poems later.
Oh, we
I
are?
have questions.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I saw on your Instagram
Yeah.
where you had to relearn how to match mouth movement, correct?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, how did that come about and why?
Yeah, so when I started training with Sesame Street, I had to relearn everything. So I was mostly self-taught as a puppeteer and ventriloquist. Like I learned from tapes. I've been performing and practicing for a year until I took my first formal class back at that same conference. Um, and Muppet style puppetry, I had been doing stage puppetry, but I had never done TV puppetry. And so Sesame Street reached out to me in 2020 and asked if I'd be willing to learn their style of puppetry. And they invited me into their mentorship program. And that was a program of maybe 12 puppeteers. And weekly we would get on Zoom because it was a pandemic. We weren't getting together. We'd get on Zoom and we'd share videos of us doing like a 2-minute performance. They would give us an assignment and we'd watch each other's videos and we'd get feedback on them. And so one of the feedback that I got was that my lip sync was kind of sloppy. And I was just kind of, wait, what? I've been doing this for how long? And I've been doing it wrong. And the reason it wasn't crisp because I wasn't fully closing the puppet's mouth with each syllable. So if you say apple, I was going apple instead of apple. And so I had to also learn how to, like, the economy of lip sync. So if you're saying a whole bunch of words, you can water down your lip sync. Like if I were to say Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers instead of going Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, and you go Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, and it reads similarly. And I dropped half of the syllables of the lip sync, and I had brilliant puppeteers like Peter Lenz, who plays Ernie, and Ernie is known for dropping syllable. His head is so big, and if he were to do every syllable, his head would be looking like this. And said, rubber ducky, you're the one. And so you can kind of find the beat of the lip sync instead of hitting every single syllable. And it looks so much more natural, and no one would notice.
How cool. We're getting a lesson in puppetry out there. We had Tony Urbano. I'm sure you've heard of him. Tony Urbano, he did all the puppets for Les Poupées de Paris. He's one of the great, great, great puppeteers, marionettes. Well, he does all kinds of puppetry.
Yeah.
And, it was actually Jim Henson that started using human hands with, big life-size characters, and of course you also have to learn to look at the monitor, and that's like patting your head and rubbing your stomach. And so, and do the voice and make sure that the lip sync is absolutely perfect. But we opened up a puppet school because I had shows in every puppet shows for Coca-Cola in every amusement park, and we did 9 to 12 shows a day. I had over 150 puppeteers that I needed, but they were all young kids. Our school was free.
Yeah.
It was absolutely free. And I think it was about a month that you got to learn, the craft of Sid Krofft's madness, because my shows were, like my television shows, they were, totally insane. And that's why, because I was dealing with teenagers, and for them to come in and see a puppet show, no way. They're not in, they want to get on the big roller coaster. But we were the #1 attraction because I blew their mind. It was just like Puff and stuff. It was so psychedelic, and and it happened in the audience and on the stage and in the ceilings and the walls. Well, I mean, I was there for 9 years, so that was a lot of shows, and the shows would all change every single year. I could rotate them, but I always had to do a new one. It took a year to do a 25-minute show. It took a solid year to, not only creatively come up with the concept, they were all musicals, but I did the music, I directed them, and it's all about me today. No, it's not. I. No, this is your show, Megan. It's your show.
What do your kids think about your puppetry? Do you use the puppet to, like, do you have it around your house? Are you teaching them lessons with it?
Yes, I am. For a
You're
while,
too
it was
young
just
to have
me.
kids.
Oh
You have
no!
kids?
Oh, I told you I've been 25 for a few years.
Yeah,
So
well,
my kids are 5 and 3.
but just to look at you, I feel like I'm talking to someone very young. Okay.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, my kids are 5 and 3, and for a while, I just I wanted them to love mommy. Mommy wanted to be the favorite, not my puppets. But I brought them out for a second. I brought baby Junebug out first to read with them because they were kind of getting distracted during book time. I was like, I think I just need something to keep them a little bit more focused, and
Focus.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got baby Junebug out, and he would read stories with them. My favorite book to read with them with baby Junebug is Llama Llama Red Pajama. But it got to the point where like I was no longer enough for reading books to them. So Leo, book time would start. We'd be reading, and then he'd go, "Mommy, can you go get Junebug?" Like,
That
oh,
was their favorite.
yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of times that they request my puppets over me, but that's okay. I love to see the magic and sparkle in their eyes when they forget I'm in the room and they're solely talking
How
to
cool.
my character. And I've got to incorporate puppetry and ventriloquism with Christmas this year. I got them a little elf on the shelf, and I know they're not watching Instagram, so if any kids are watching, I'm sorry, but they're up on the shelf. I convinced him that he talks and he moves because I would talk to him. His name is Elvis. And so Elvis would always talk to them about what he did and what he got into the night before. And so I thought maybe they were just making me feel good by talking back to Elvis and believing in front of me. But we had a play date and one of their friends came over. And the first thing Leo did when his friend came over, he went and got Elvis. He said, "Look, he walks and he talks and he made cookies."
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean, they believe in a puppet.
Yes.
Look at Sesame Street. It's been on, what, over 50 years now. And like I said, it's on every country in the world in their language. No, it's the most important show on television.
How cool was it working on that set?
Oh man, it's really like living in a dream to work on this set. Because I grew up with those characters being real and my friends, and as an adult being able to step into the space, it is a real place. It's a place where you can sit down on the 1, 2, 3 steps. You can hug Big Bird and Elmo and talk to them and have real conversations. And I'm just excited for my kids to be able to experience that magic in person. And my favorite part of working on Sesame Street is seeing other people's first day there because you can see them entering their dream, entering their childhood again.
Yeah, but what about, hey, Megan, let's be truthful. What about getting that check every week, too? Yeah.
That's really nice,
Yeah, I
It
know.
keeps me going.
Yeah, I know it. But, you know,
That was the most humble response ever. It was really nice.
that is great. That's great. And so, how many years have you actually been on the show
I
now?
started in 2020, and I did all voiceover work in 2020, and I went in person for the first time in 2021. So I was actually pregnant when I started training with Sesame Street, pregnant with my second son, and I was doing a lot of virtual training while pregnant as well. And so after I had my son, that's when I started on the street.
How cool.
Yeah.
And, I know so many people that have been on the show and they just can't wait, to return. Everybody's so incredible. It's like a loving world, isn't it? Being on Sesame Street.
Yeah, it's truly a family,
Yeah,
and when they train you with the intentions that you'll be there the forever. The people that I were trained with, like Marty Robinson, he's been with Sesame Street for over
I
40
know
years. And so you're walking into a space where people have been there for 25, 30, 40 years, where they brought their newborns to set, and now their kids are now 25-year-olds, and they have memories of their kids being in certain episodes. Like one of my coworkers, Carmen Osbar, who does Rosita, her son was in a segment with the astronaut Buzz. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about? I forgot
The
his name.
astronaut.
He was like one of the first men to go to the moon.
Oh, Buzz Aldrin.
Oh, Buzz.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
He was in a segment with him, and they were talking about space, and her son ended up studying like aeronautics, and he studies like space physics and everything. And so he was inspired by that moment on Sesame Street, and that's now the career that he's in right
I
now.
gotta tell you something that relates to what you just said. I just got a call right before I went on. Sometimes people call me and know that I'm on live at 3 o'clock,
Yeah.
and thank God the phone hasn't rang, you know, because I really let them have it. But I got a call uh, from someone that is almost my neighbor. I mean, I live up in the hills, and when you say neighbor, you have to take your car, to go
Wow.
visit them. You can't walk. Yeah. And, well, they're not that far away.
Yeah.
But her husband called me and said he just talked to someone that their 10-year-old kid would like to meet me because he watches my shows. I said, give me and he has a lot of questions to ask me. And could he bring the kid over soon,
Yeah.
after we get rid of this cold weather, because usually my house is open, it's all glass, and it's all open all the time. And the reason I have to close it, because I have an African gray bird that I've
Yes.
had for 30 years.
Yes.
And when he says, Sid, it's cold, I have to close up the
Oh my
house.
gosh.
Or in the summer, he'll say, Sid, it's hot. And he'll pick his wings up. I mean, he's a trip. Uh, he's not around now because he'd drive us crazy.
Yeah.
So I, I put him on a perch in another room and shut the door, or he'd come out because he likes to participate
I'm
when he
sure.
hears my voice, in everything. You mentioned earlier Sherry Lewis. Of course, I knew her well. We used to have what we called the show business factory, where we built everything. And there were 250 people that worked there. And it was all sponsored by Six Flags because we were also the creative heads of the parks.
Wow.
And when they needed whatever they needed each year, we built there. We had, incredible crew of people, every department. And I I didn't want to let anybody go when all the parks would open in April. So I got permission to keep our doors open and let other people come in. And Sherry Lewis came to us because,
Wow.
she also did an act and toured a lot. And we built a tandem. It was the first tandem done life size. She was in the middle, and then two on either side that she manipulated, but it was of her. So there
Yes.
were five of them. Five of
What?
them.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen those.
Oh, and it was
I have been
incredible.
looking
I've
for them. I have been on
seen
a.
the one where she has one on each side, and I built a replica of those last year, but five I had not seen.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
did you use yours for? Because I did see that. That's the Beyonce dance, right?
Oh, I'm flattered. I wasn't going for Beyonce, but
Wow,
thank you.
we know more about you than you know about me. We really do. And we'll talk about that.
But what did you use that for?
I was just inspired. So I was working with the Sherry Lewis documentary, and they were showing me some footage that they were going to put in the film. And I saw those dancing puppets for the first time. I was like, oh my God, I would love to do that. I can dance a little bit, and it would just be something fun and different. And so I built them with Steve Axtell with Axtell Expressions. And the first time I used them was I did a Disney cruise last April, and I've done some festivals, but I'm still finding new places to break them out.
No, that's incredible. I think those were the first, and then Michael Curry built them for the Siegfried and Roy show. He had armies of gold soldiers, just armies of them,
Wow.
coming on stage. And but I'm sure we were the first
Yeah.
to, to do them, because this is in the year 1800 or when. No, I don't know. I mean, shit, I've been around a long time, so just when you ask me questions of, like I mentioned at the top of the show, Rock Hudson and Mae West. I knew Mae West really well,
Wow.
as she recorded for us, and there's some incredible stories. Do you know who I mean talking
No,
about? Mae
no. I
West?
have to find
Come,
you.
come up and see me sometime. She was like the first sex symbol before Marilyn Monroe and before,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
way before. And and she did a lot of movies with W.C.
Okay.
Fields, and yeah, don't say okay if you don't know who W.C. Fields is.
You say okay when you don't know people too.
I know. Okay, so okay.
Should I just go?
And well, anyway, Rock Hudson and Mae West on the
Don't worry,
Academy
I have to
Award.
Google half these people. It's fine.
I
She
would
does
Google,
all
but
the
I'm
time.
using my phone right now.
Yeah, Kelly says, I don't know who the hell you're talking about,
Most of the time, I think he's full of crap, and then I have to Google it. And I'm like, okay, he's telling the truth.
No, I always tell them, I want to go to heaven. It's like, who are you? I'm the devil, go to hell. No, that's just a puppet show. Yeah, that's my puppet
How
show.
many puppets do you have at your house?
Um, oof, I think too many. There's a few that I haven't used regularly. There's probably maybe 6 to 7 that I use regularly. But I have a bad habit of just accumulating characters, and I think of an idea and put it out. So I'm trying to stay with, a cast that people can relate to and remember. But I probably have maybe 20 here.
And you built them all.
No, I wish I could build
Oh,
puppets. I built marionettes for a while
uh-huh.
as a hobby, but I never performed with them. But no, I've never tried building.
I didn't build my
Yeah.
marionettes either. Frank Paris, who did, oh God, Howdy Doody.
Yeah.
He built the original Howdy Doody, and he was a performer too. But he built the most beautiful marionettes, and
Wow.
he did all for my act,
Yeah.
because Kelly's gonna really get mad at me for
Oh,
saying this.
terribly mad. I already know what he's going to say when he leads
Because,
in with that.
oh, everybody says, oh no, he's not going to talk about that again. I was the opening act on the first tour of Judy Garland. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
See, now I found somebody that's not going to tell me, oh no, don't tell me that story again.
I want to hear it.
That changed my whole career.
Wow.
To be a puppet act, to
Opening
be
for a singer.
opening for Judy
Yeah.
Garland. I mean, she was the biggest star in the world. And it was her first national tour. We opened in Vegas, and a puppet act to be in Vegas? Give me a break. But because of that, I worked every hotel in Vegas. Every,
Wow.
God, I was sort of famous.
Yeah.
I really was. My act, because I took puppetry and took it to the adult world,
Mhm.
just the way David Copperfield took
Mhm.
magic and took
Mhm.
it to the adult world. Because my first agent said, I can't. Ugh, a puppet act? I don't book little kids'
Oh
parties,
wow.
you know. And so That's why I never said the word puppet. And at the top of the show, you heard Kelly say, the unusual artistry of Sid
Wow.
Krofft. I'm 15 years old, and I changed the word puppetry, and I called the byline for my act was the unusual artistry of
That's so
Sid
cute.
Krofft. Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, for a 15-year-old to know those big words,
Yeah.
I read it in a magazine or something.
Is
Who
it
knows?
trademarked if I decide to use that?
No, it's not trademark. You should use it because, you know, I mean, it's incredible. So going back to Judy Garland, because I was chosen out of hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
acts to be her opening act in Vegas, a puppet act.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that, and that I never stopped working after that.
That's wonderful.
What was the moment for you that you felt opened the most doors for you?
Oh, wow.
Being beautiful and talented. Can I answer that? Yeah.
Oh man, I just have had a drive to never quit.
No, you can't.
I've had many, roadblocks and up and down. So there was no particular moment that that took my career, where it was. I think each moment, each failure, each success kind of guided me towards where I ended up. Speaking of Judy Garland, The Wizard of Oz, I was obsessed with as a child. I watched it every day, multiple times a day, to the point where my parents had to take the VHS tape wherever we went. So if there was a TV, we could put in The Wizard of Oz. And I remember specifically the moment when the VHS player ate my Wizard of Oz tape, and I thought that was the only copy in the world.
Oh my God.
So they had to
And
quickly find.
how you cried for a
Yeah,
week.
well,
And
they found a replacement very quickly. But yeah, so I think that was probably one of my formative
that's what got me,
productions.
that really basically got me into show business
Yeah,
because 1939, it was March, I think the 12th, was opening day of that movie, 1939,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Just
I got
recently.
to see it. And
Wonderful.
oh my God, alone. I was alone in the theater because they snuck me in. I didn't
Wow.
have 75 cents to buy a ticket, and it was opening day. And I thought, oh my God, I'm too tall to be a munchkin. I don't want to be an actor, even at being that young.
You just want sparkly shoes.
Because I wanted those red shoes, yeah.
Well, I'm
and,
definitely
and
tall
I
enough to be
thought,
in the Lullaby League.
that's the world that I want to be in. I don't know how, I don't know
Yeah.
when. And it was only a week later that I saw the Meglin Kiddies. There were 100 children that put on a show in a vaudeville theater.
Wow.
Meglin, she discovered Shirley Temple and
Okay.
Jackie Coogan and Mickey Rooney when they were little kids. And the second act it was done by a kid, but he was on a dark stage. I couldn't see how old he was. He did a marionette act, that little kid, and he had a clown. Oh, everybody's heard this a million times. That blew up a balloon. I'm alone in the theater again because
Yeah.
someone
He
gave
just didn't, he wasn't alone. The theater had people. He was by
Yeah.
himself, no parents
no
or.
parents. My dad dropped me off, and we had a free ticket
Wow.
for a matinee, and he asked this couple to bring me in.
Yeah.
It was sold out, and I sat with this couple, and this clown blew up a balloon, came out of his suitcase, and the balloon broke, and the clown and the music. The whole orchestra was kids in the pit. They were all kids. And the clown seemed like he was crying. I never saw a marionette before. I started to cry, and they threw me out of the theater. So I never saw the rest of the show or the act because the audience said, "Shut the hell up," and screaming, yeah.
He believed it.
I really did, yeah. And that was the day that I knew I wanted to be a puppeteer for the rest of my life.
Wow.
I didn't have no clue how to get one or no clue about anything. I saw an ad in a comic book for a $3.95 puppet, and I sent away for it. And that's a whole story that everybody out there has heard so many times.
So the big question is, Megan, how many times have you made little kids cry?
Oh man. Luckily never in a bad way. I've never had like a nightmare experience where, a child was afraid of a puppet. But I have seen them completely fall into the magic where they only want to talk to my character and ask them a million and one questions. I've actually had kids make me cry before.
Well,
So this is a really sentimental story, but my favorite performance of all time, I performed at the Ronald McDonald House in Cincinnati for families who were staying there while their children were admitted in the hospital. And after the show, a little girl came up to me and she loved Baby Junebug, and so much so she wanted to perform for him. And she had an oxygen tank. She was probably maybe 3 years old, 2 to 3 years old. And she sang Jesus Loves Me to Baby Junebug. And she had to take breaths in between like really long breaks to catch up on her oxygen. But Baby Junebug is just, listening and trying to sing along with her. And I'm like crying that she's performing for me, but I'm supposed to be performing for her. But she fell in love with him. And that was so special to me that she was able to
kids
forget
always
about her
do.
illness.
They love the characters, and what Jim Henson did for the world of puppetry, And okay, let's tell the story on how we knew you.
Oh, okay.
Years ago. 3 years ago.
Longer than that.
See, she's.
I'm in his head. I know where he's going with this, but it's much longer than that.
Is it 4 years ago?
Because it was 2020, so it was more. Yeah, it was 4 years ago.
4 years ago, I was on Instagram doing this show, and I never talked to puppeteers personally. And here I was, well, they call me now the grandfather of puppetry, but here I was, a puppeteer that really made a dent in puppetry, right? And so because of this show, puppeteers from all over the world are watching today. Oh, definitely today. And because of you on it. But, and so I got this crazy idea because I've been all over the world. I've entertained everywhere, almost every country. And,
wow.
With my act. Because my act was 29 years before I gave that up and went into television and Les Poupées de Paris. Do you know about Les Poupées?
No, I don't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she can Google it later.
I can't. I will.
Les Poupées de Paris was the biggest puppet show ever done in the world. And it played to millions and millions of people. But you had to be 21 to see it. Because it was like the Lido or the Folie Bergère, naked, breasted show girls and, and all these effects. It took 3 months to install it. It played the New York World's Fair and the Seattle World's Fair, and off Broadway and Vegas for many years. But anyway, where was I going with this?
I think you said something about you wanted me to see Les Coupé. No, Junebug. You're not. Well, I was just hoping that you would take me in. You said you had to get sneaked into the theater, so I was like, Junebug, no,
Oh,
no.
no, I like Junebug. Don't tell him no. No, Junebug took the stage. He really took the stage.
Thank you. Sometimes she be putting me on the floor, Mr. Krofft. Junebug.
Oh, really? Junebug, did you ask me a question?
No, she puts him on the floor.
Oh, why did...
Junebug. It's okay. I was just taking a nap.
Oh, were you?
The floor
Well,
is
you
kind of
got
hard
your nap pad
sometimes.
on. You have your nap pad on. Yeah. What?
So 4 years ago, we started the Instagram
Oh,
show.
Instagram show. Okay. This is, Junebug, listen to this. And I've been all over the world, in every city and every country, the most incredible puppetry ever. You know, every city in America too, there are puppeteers, you know, that really creative as hell, but don't have the income of going further with it. You know what I mean?
Talking about you.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And so I had this crazy idea, and I started calling the top people in Hollywood if they wanted to get involved, you know, and everybody said, and they were like, no one said, call my agent, or, you know, they said, when can we start? This is brilliant. Right. And so it was all about puppetry, but it was for television.
And we had to put a sizzle together.
Oh, wow.
And we put a sizzle together with talent out there. And you were on the sizzle, you know, and that whole concept turned around because of China, and it was so huge that it became like a live show for Vegas.
Oh,
and that's what we're working on right now. And so you've been on our radar
for a long time.
For a good 4 years. How about that? How about that?
Mr. Krofft, did you get one of my pictures in there?
Did I do what?
Did you get one of my pictures in the sizzle stage?
Oh yeah, you were in there. Yeah, you're in the sizzle. I don't think you had a nightcap on. I don't think so, because you know, I didn't have any characters that slept a lot. But you're young. You need to have your little nap.
Well, Megan is always trying to make me go take a nap.
Well, it's good for you, you know.
She said I got too much energy. No, Junebug, I didn't say that.
It's incredible.
Can you talk to my kid? He needs to take a nap.
Yeah, I'll talk to him. Don't listen to your mama. No, Junebug.
Please don't scream at her, kid.
Please do. This might be a lot of fun. This might be a different show.
I know it. Megan, what are your plans?
What are you doing? What are you working on?
Yeah.
So the Sesame Street season starts in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to be traveling back and forth to New York.
Well,
oh, man.
Where do you live?
Yeah, I live in Nashville.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Based out of Nashville.
Wow.
So the season is starting soon, but Junebug and I are still working on lots of kids' music, and so we'll be doing that this year too.
How long is the season?
So, yeah, we record January through March of every year, 1 week on, 1 week off. And outside of the regular season, I may go up maybe once a month to record.
And you're allowed to perform, or even...
Yeah, perform outside of the show.
Yeah. How cool. So do you tour?
No, I haven't toured yet. If we going on a tour, I'm going to need a better seat. Mr. Krofft, she's been putting me in this little tiny suitcase, and I can't travel with a girl like that.
No, you shouldn't be in a suitcase.
Should get his own seat.
That's right, on the plane. Yeah.
Anybody watching in child services? Junebug.
That's right.
Go lay down. See, I
Yeah.
told you she always trying to tell me to
No,
lay down.
Megan. Yeah, go lay down.
You have to keep your baby carrier from the little one
Yeah,
so that
that's
you
true.
can
I should treat him better.
you can become that crazy person carrying your puppet, the baby carrier.
Right here. Just kind of like
There's a whole new show working its way out right now.
Yeah, well, don't do that because I almost ended up in a, in a straight
Maybe
jacket.
I am hurting my team of crazy right now. It's gonna be Sid Krofft and Megan, all in the padded room together.
Why do I get top billing?
No, because you are nuts and you're older.
Because I'm
Age
older.
before beauty. Age before beauty.
Well, the beauty, I have a mirror. There is no beauty left.
stop it.
But I still have my mind. I still do.
You look great.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh God, that opens up a whole new can of worms when you say that. Instead of "you look great," you look wonderful.
Ooh.
Use that line.
Yeah.
You look because that's what people say to old people. Oh my God, you look wonderful. You look wonderful. And
did you know Sid is 94 years old?
You did?
Yes.
And you thought, oh my God, how am I going to talk to such an old man?
No, I honestly was like, wow, I have never gone on Instagram Live, and Sid is 94 and he does it every week. And so I really felt embarrassed that I'd never gone live before.
And guess what? We're going to start doing a podcast, and it's going to be the Sid and Kelly show. And it's going to be another show about nothing. Nothing. And we're recording the first one.
Got no goals.
Next week. We don't have any sponsors yet, so I wrote, a commercial.
His own commercials.
Yeah.
Wow, I love it.
It's going to be the adult side. We're very family friendly here. We have a Saturday show we do for our subscribers that's a little bit more deep, and then
then I'm really going to get deeper because
with the podcast.
I have a lot of stories, but I don't get
I don't think anybody's ever asked him the right question.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot.
well, because Hollywood in the 50s and 60s, there were no rules, and I was here, and so there's some great story. I worked in vaudeville, so you're talking about Paul Winchell and and all those great performers. As a matter of fact, Edgar Bergen in Les Poupées de Paris, Charlie McCarthy was in the opening of Les Poupées de Paris. He did the voice for Charlie McCarthy for me before he left the planet, and he came to opening night of the show, and that was Les Poupées de Paris. Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, all the stories.
I want to hear those stories.
No, all the stories that I told you and all of everybody that's listening, I made it all up. So don't sit there and say, "Oh, this guy." I gotta tell you, I was at a Comic-Con, and they asked me to give a product away. And I went into this big circus tent. It was for Funko. And there were 1,000 people in there, but they were all kids. And so they introduced me, and I knew they're going to say, "Who the hell? Get that old guy off the stage." So I said, "I know you're all thinking, who the hell is this old guy trying to talk to us?" And I said, "Do me a favor. Everybody, show me you have a phone." And they all held their phone up. 1,000 young people. And I said, "I want you should do this every day, but I want you right now to call your grandma or your mom.
Wow.
And my name is Sid Krofft. Tell them, Krofft. And I guarantee you they'll know who I am. And they all did it. And then, you know, they came searching for me
Yeah.
all day.
Oh,
You know,
My
wow.
mom wants to talk to you.
my mom, oh yeah, my grandma's on the phone. Oh my God, she grew up. We did 26 television series.
Oh my
So,
God.
you know,
That's incredible.
okay, you know what? They're throwing us off because in a couple of minutes we can only do an hour,
Oh,
and
okay.
then they throw you off on
Yeah.
Instagram. Thank you so much, Megan. This was so much fun.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be able to connect and hear your stories.
Well,
And
thank you. And your stories. Your
thank you.
stories are great. And I know, you know, you have a lot of followers, and I hope they, you know, follow me too.
Yes. Join Sid, grandfather of
The
puppetry, please.
grandfather of
Yes.
puppetry. That's right. And
Unusual artistry.
of Sid Krofft. Boom. That was the way my act opened up. And they'd hit this huge gong to get everybody's attention.
And
Yeah.
now we have the world's smallest gong. We start the show.
I love it.
Bang. So that's what that's about. If you're wondering what the hell, you know, this show is about, I told you it's about nothing. Okay. And guess what? The 28th, I'm going to be in Pasadena. Please come and see me. I'll be there on a Sunday. We'll do
Yeah.
the show from there. Well, not you. You can't.
But Megan, when you are
Yeah.
in LA, you have to let us know.
Please.
I will.
Oh no, you got to come visit.
I will.
Yeah.
I am. Because I do want to get out there to see Mallory Lewis. And so
Yes.
I'd love to stop by.
Yes.
Oh my
Sometime this spring.
God. Yeah. Yeah, we should have her on the show.
Yes,
Okay.
we will.
We will.
Let's
Yeah.
shoot for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you again. And you have a beautiful day. You are beautiful. And thank you.
So
And
awesome.
good luck. Good
Yes.
luck with,
Thank
Break a
you.
leg.
yeah. Bye, Megan.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you.
See y'all.
Bye.
Are we still live?
We're still on.
Okay. So I'm going to be in Pasadena all day. It's a Sunday.
The 28th.
At the convention center. Yeah. I'll come and just say hello. And no, I'll tell you a story. Okay.
About Judy Garland.
No, it won't be about Judy Garland. And so there are some people out there that don't even know who Judy Garland is.
That's very true.
You know, or Liberace or any
Who's
of those people. You see what I'm saying? Okay. See you next week. Hey, thank you so much. To be continued.
Who do we have on next week?
Who do we have on next week? Oh, you all been to Disneyland? Everybody's been to Disneyland. And don't you wonder who builds and creates all those floats for all the incredible parades at Disneyland? That's who we're having on. Whoa, this is really special.
Kevin
and
Jody.
Kevin and Jody are coming on. So famous.
Yes, we're having on Walt Disney.
And Walt Disney.
We're having on Walt Disney's Ghost.
Yeah, Walt Disney, you know, it's 59. Walt Disney, the first time I met him, said, you guys, put your name on everything that you created because someday it'll be worth something. So that's why you keep seeing Sid Marty Krofft, Sid Marty Krofft, Sid. Yeah, okay. Blame Walt Disney.
There you go.
I'll see you next week. Love you.
Bye.